there's a whole political ideology and party that is developed around this idea that COVID is not as dangerous as we say it is. And therefore, the vaccine is BS, which also proves that COVID is not as dangerous as we've been saying it is. And that the people pushing the vaccine know that it's BS, which means that they also know that COVID is not as dangerous as it is. And they're running on this and they're making money off it. Here's two people who are doing both, making money off it and running off it. Tucker Carlson and JD Vance.
Long topic, long answer potentially, but really quickly, why have we not talked about treatment for the last 2 years? Like, why are they against treating this disease they claim to take so seriously?
Yeah, I think it's always useful, Tucker, to ask who gets rich from this and who doesn't. And of course, we know that the pharmaceutical companies that are producing the vaccines, they're out there selling it as a recurring therapy, right? If you have to take a shot, every single person in the country, the government forces you to do it for every 3 months, every 6 months. You make a whole lot more money than a one-off person who happens to have severe COVID getting an antibody treatment. I think that the hidden secret of this is that the government has conspired with the pharmaceutical industry to force the most expensive treatments instead of doing something that would save the most lives and cause the least disruption.
As long as you're not criticizing Pfizer, which I don't think is allowed anymore, I appreciate what you said. JD Vance, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Pause it.
So what's the most expensive vaccine treatment that he's referring to there? Or what's the most expensive COVID treatment that he's referring to there? Because it's not the vaccine. The vaccine is free.
I think he was mentioning...
Oh, no, he's saying that the government is paying for the vaccine. The vaccine makers are making money. But guess what? The monoclonal antibodies is even more expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're having to ration those, actually, to talk about disruption.
Because only one of them works against Omicron, because you have to use the antibodies from that. And yet, when they're talking about, you know, why don't we focus on treating the disease? Yeah, I mean, the reason that monoclonal antibodies are running out, the treatment after you get COVID, is because misinformation like you. It's a finite resource right now. And so that's why vaccination is the right way to go. And it's like way more profitable.
Well, it's just the whole premise of what they're saying is that unless you believe that ivermectin, and which he didn't mention, ivermectin or hydrochloroxyquine or whatever it is, the latest, or drink your own pee, whatever it is that they suggest is a treatment for this. How much do you think Joe Rogan spent when he threw the kitchen sink at it? Mm-hmm. How much would it cost for everybody to throw the kitchen sink at it? And then what's involved? Like, how many spaces are there going to be in the hospital if everybody's got to throw the kitchen sink at it? We know vaccination is inhibiting the hospitalization of the vaccinated. I mean, we would have hospitals are already at the breaking point. We already have hospitals declaring emergencies across the country at this point. The idea that you could treat everybody and that it would be cheaper, both those things are total lies.
Yeah, and I mean, Joe Rogan has access to the Hollywood Dr. Feel-Good style doctor. There's not enough of those to go around to be prescribing the kitchen sink. When I got COVID, I threw what was under the bathroom sink, which was Dayquil and NyQuil.
And you did so after being vaccinated.
Yeah.
The point is, if we are to believe what these two were saying, that the vaccination is just a conspiracy to make money for the drug companies, because they know that actually somehow Vance is under the impression that if you give someone monoclonal antibodies, that they don't get infected with COVID again, would make you wonder why Donald Trump felt like he needed a booster at that point, or even why he needed a vaccination, right? The vaccination came out after he had his monoclonal antibodies, and he promised that everybody was going to get those. Right. I mean, that's the way. If you wanted to make money for the drug companies, you would do the monoclonal antibodies, because you would have a never-ending supply of customers. You would be able to charge the government, I guess, is the idea, over and over again for the same people. I mean, this is just slightly higher end Alex Jones shit.
Yeah.
This is like one click away from weather machine stuff. And understand there are varying degrees of this. And you'll get some people who will say, like, well, we just need to hear them out. But it really is reprehensible that they're all pushing this. It's really reprehensible. It's just disgusting. Because there are people listening to this, and this is how they will justify not getting vaccinated. Then some percentage of them, higher percentage than those who would be vaccinated, are going to die. And you already have a situation in this country where you have
injury. Like we talk about long COVID, that doesn't even exist to those people.
It doesn't exist. And you've got what, like 1 in 450 kids in this country are orphaned because of this? Or have lost a parent?
Talk about psychic trauma.
I mean,
Save the children. Yeah, I mean, well, exactly. I didn't bring up this point, but they're so obsessed with the mental health of kids. When you were talking about how, you know, just being in school right now, there's that constant anxiety for both of your kids about if they're going to get COVID or not.